Everyone has a different way of playing Minecraft, but there certainly seems to be some stereotypes in the Minecraft community about, what type of Minecraft player you are. Are you a builder? I feel like there's a big building community, but maybe that's just from my personal experience, or do you do redstone? Are you like super into redstone? You really know what you're doing? Or are you the type who just speed runs? Or do you just play for fun and just sometimes log on and just, you don't even have any goals? All of these ways of playing Minecraft are completely fine. But sometimes, you don't want to limit yourself to just one thing. Maybe you've always wanted to know how to build and you just haven't really got the knack of it yet. You don't really understand how. But I promise that after this video, you should be able to know how to build at least better than you had. Number 1. You need to plan your colour scheme and you need to think about textures. So when you think of colour schemes, you have to be really careful, okay? You can't have tons of different colours. You can't have tons of different woods. You have to think really smart. So, if you're starting off, you need to go with a basic color scheme, and you can kind of reuse this and swap things out, but everything needs to match. You need to have kind of an eye for color theory and kind of color design. I think you can kind of wing it, because that's definitely what I do, but you need to think about it a little bit. And whilst you're thinking about colors, you also need to think about textures. So for example, if I have bricks, a block that has bricks in it, I'm not going to go and get cobbled deep slate and put that as the roof, because that is just way too many textures and it just makes the build look a bit, it's a bit out there. And sometimes it's easier to go for something a bit more simple, because if you want to go for something that's like with crazy colors and blocks, it takes a lot more of kind of the idea of you need to be really good at building texture and making a story with your build. And I mean, you can always try it, but if you want your build to look good from the get-go, please plan your color scheme, because if you've never done that before, you might need a little bit of help. Go into creative mode and just kind of map some things out. It's a good idea. Okay, so now we've got the colour scheme. Number 2, we need to think about the surroundings. Please do not have your house floating. Don't have it where there's like no blocks in front and it's just like hanging on the edge a little bit. Don't do that. Please don't do that. If you want your build to look more realistic, please think about the fact that if you had a house, you wouldn't build it on the top of a tiny hill where, think about structure a little bit. Okay, and yeah, not a good idea. You need to think about the fact that if it was a real house, I know this is Minecraft, but still, if it was a real house, you would not have it kind of floating or on an uneven surface. It wouldn't make any sense. So just kind of keep that one in mind. Also, if you're building on water, and you got like a raft kind of thing going on, please put supports. It just makes the whole thing make more sense. And don't do like little flimsy supports. Okay, I've kind of, at the moment, I'm working on something that I haven't put supports on yet, but you best believe I will in the end when I finish that build. So don't worry. Yeah, that's my live stream wall, by the way. That's what I'm referencing. Also think about, when you're thinking about surroundings, also think about trees and stuff. Minecraft trees are great, but sometimes building your own trees and stuff can help. But we're going to get onto that in a second, okay? 1 minute. Number 3, think about the floor plan. Okay, a square is great for a house, but it's a bit boring. To enhance your build, to make it look better, please add at least, make it an L shape or something where you can kind of add a little bit more on and make things different. It just really helps make it not look like you've just built a square block brick thing. I don't know. Yeah. Good idea, because then you can kind of add more things and it just makes it easier to add those little details. Number 4, roofs. Okay, we really need to talk about this because there are lots of different ways you can do roofs. I always used to think of them as just like a square triangle vibe. Okay, I am making a triangle right now with my hands. I'm recording this audio separate to the video. Fun fact, if you care. Let's actually continue. Yes, so the roof. Try not to just make it a square. That's not... Oh, no. Try not to just make it a triangle. You can add blocks. Here is an example where you can kind of make the roof look different to just the normal square shape. I realized this a few years back, like maybe it's quite a while ago now, but it completely changed my build. It made them so much better than they had ever been. So it's a really good one to learn. Basically, it's super simple. Just add another block and then, just make your roofs different. I have made lots of roofs where the roofs are like wonky and they look really cool. It was kind of the vibe. You can do that as well. Please experiment with that. It's a good one. Making the roofs literally completely wonky on one side and everything. That's pretty fun too. But have a go with it. It's sometimes best to try it in creative first, especially if you're new to kind of building. So you can kind of break things and stuff. And then when you go back into survival world, you can just build it perfectly. But yeah, please experiment with roofs. It's a really good idea. Number 5, greenery. Okay, greenery is so important. It's the little details that really matter. Like sometimes adding a little bit of moss into the grass just in little places, like a few blocks, can just make it just look that little bit more interesting. Think of it like a painting, okay? Not for me to sound like super like I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, think of it like a painting, and the fact that if you just did one block color for something, like you were painting anything and you just one block color, it wouldn't look as good as if you did tons of different shades of things, and it made it look definitely much more complete. So you want to try and fill in those gaps with things. So like making trees, building them yourself makes them look so much better. Greenery is your friend, okay? It makes everything look better. So for example, get some of those like moss. All the moss stuff is so good. So like if you get some of those like little moss trees and then add like a moss block on top, I think you guys get that idea. So many different things. Also adding like fences around, like not complete fences, just like little broken up fences and pathways. You need to really think when you make a build how it's going to fit into the area. Don't just literally place a build. Like you don't want to just put it in the middle of somewhere and it just looks completely out of sync with everything else. You really need to embed it like it's always been there, which is you have to think about when you think about building, kind of think about it in not just like a way of, oh, these are like a video game and these are bricks. Kind of think of it more in like a real sense, like if this was an actual house. That sometimes helps, just makes everything better. Number 7, details. Details are so important, and I feel like it leads on from the last point. Like windowsills with like trapdoors. Trapdoors are your best friend, especially the spruce trapdoors. They're amazing. With like some flowers in it. That just makes it 10 times better, the whole build. Windows, please put lots of windows in your builds, but like little ones, not like big windows, and don't make them symmetrical. Also, like a chimney is a really good one. So you just put a campfire and make a little chimney, and then the smoke comes out and it kind of adds a bit more detail to the place and makes it look more alive, which can help just bring it all together. Number 8, don't be afraid to copy. Okay, I mean, don't do plagiarism or whatever, but don't be afraid to copy. It's fine to go into like a app where you can look at different Minecraft houses and copy them or take inspiration from them. Like I take inspiration all the time from things, and sometimes I take inspiration from a lot of different things, and I blend them all together and I make something new. I feel that it's really good to go and look at what other people do, because sometimes you can just be overwhelmed by there's just tons of different blocks I could make. So come up with color scheme palettes from just looking at like different people's builds, and you can come up with ideas too. Also, a side note, this relates to a previous point, but also wheat and like little mini farms. I'm not talking like a proper farm where you're gonna get all your crops, just like a little farm at the front of your house can just make it look that much better. Anyway, I could definitely do like a part 2 to this, or I could actually show you guys ideas on what to build. I feel like that would be fun, instead of just giving you the general overview of how to build a house. I could do that, or also ideas for your interiors. I could give some more videos like that if anyone wants to see them. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe and like, and I really hope that you guys are better builders. I believe in you guys. I hope that this really helped. And you can make some amazing builds and impress your friends.